All right, let's talk about something that's probably a major headache for a lot of you out there: billing. But we're not just going to complain about the problem. Nope, we're going to dive into the solution: billing automation. Let's get right into it.
Wow, does this hit home or what? We've all been there. One tiny missed detail, a single wrong number, and suddenly your entire financial cycle is just thrown into chaos. It's an unbelievably frustrating feeling, and it can seriously derail a whole team. But here's the good news. It absolutely doesn't have to be this way. There's a really clear path from all that financial stress to real financial stability. And that's exactly what we're going to map out for you in this explainer.
Okay, so before we can find the cure, right, we got to get a proper diagnosis. So let's start by breaking down the most common issues that are probably plaguing your billing systems right now. So as I run through these, I want you to think, does any of this sound painfully familiar? We're going to look at 4 key symptoms that are basically flashing red lights, telling you your billing process is in trouble. First up, and this one is a really big deal, a lack of any real, meaningful integration, between all the different systems your business has to rely on every single day. And right here, this really gets to the core of it. Your systems, your CRM, your ERP, all that stuff, they were never built to actually talk to each other. It's like they all speak different languages. And what does that create? Fragmented data, silos, and yeah, you guessed it, a ton of costly billing errors. So, what's the second symptom? Well, it's basically like you're flying blind. This happens when you have to make these huge, critical business decisions using information that's already hours, maybe even days old. And the consequences of that? They're pretty serious. As you can see, relying on old data, well, it leads to bad decisions and puts your finances at risk. But check out that last point. It also means you're failing your customers. A whopping 75% of them now prefer payments to happen in real time. Your old, outdated systems just can't hang. All right, symptom number 3 is just the sheer brute force manual effort it takes to keep the gears turning. We're talking about hours upon hours spent on boring, repetitive manual tasks. 30%. Just think about what that number actually means. Your highly skilled, very well-paid finance team could be spending nearly a third of their entire work week just manually checking and rechecking accounts. That is precious time that should be going into strategy and growth, but instead it's getting burned on these tedious, error-prone tasks. And the final symptom, and honestly, this one might be the most painful of all, is unhappy customers. Because, let's be real, billing problems don't just mess with your internal numbers. They directly damage your customer relationships and can push even your most loyal customers right out the door. 9%. For any of you with recurring revenue, that's the average you lose just from failed transactions. Let that sink in for a moment. That's just a massive hole in your revenue boat. And a lot of the time, it's totally preventable and tied directly to a bad billing experience. Okay, deep breath. We've diagnosed the illness. Now, let's actually talk about the cure. And we're not looking for some Band-Aid fix here. We're talking about treating the root cause with automation. So, what are we even talking about when we say billing automation? It's actually pretty simple. It's just using smart digital tools to automatically handle the whole invoicing process, from creating it to sending it to collecting on it, all without a person having to click a button. It's about letting the tech do the heavy lifting. I mean, this comparison right here, it just lays it all out, plain and simple. You're shifting from a process that's slow, full of errors, and super stressful to one that's fast, reliable, secure, and hey, brings a little peace of mind. This isn't just some small tweak. It's a fundamental upgrade to how your business actually runs. Okay, so if automation is the cure, what's the prescription? How do you actually pick the right tool for the job? Let's take a look at what you should really be looking for. So here's what you need to have on your checklist. First, it has to be scalable. It's got to be able to grow with you. It must integrate smoothly with your payment gateways. You need customizable reports so you can actually see what's going on. It should support lots of different payment methods because that's what customers want. And this one is crucial. Look for automated dunning. That's the system that automatically follows up on failed payments so you don't have to. It's a lifesaver. Now listen, having a great tool is awesome, but it's really only half the battle. A successful rollout absolutely requires a solid plan. So before you go and flip that switch, there are a few key steps you've got to take. Following these steps is absolutely crucial for a smooth rollout. First, think of your provider as a partner, not just a vendor.
Then, really dig in and diagnose your current setup. It is so important to get all the key teams in a room together, IT, finance, commercial, to map everything out. From there, you build your plan, you set up your tracking, and this is probably the most important part, you test everything in a safe, controlled environment before you go live.
And when you actually put all of these pieces into place, what you get is something so much bigger than just saving a bit of time. You actually move from this state of constant financial stress to one of predictable, reliable financial strength. And that really is the big takeaway here. Yes, of course, automation saves time, but its true value, it's in building a system you can actually trust. It's about creating security, order, and maybe most importantly, predictability in your revenue streams. So, I'm going to leave you with one final question to think about. Take a really hard look at your own operations. Is your current billing process a constant source of stress, something that's always holding you back? Or is it a well-oiled machine, a true source of strength for your business? The answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.